Mansfield today on a Wednesday, and the final medical show for 2021.
Sure.
It's been a year, eh?
It's been a year.
Yeah, you guys have had a rough year. You've had a rough 2 years,
Yeah.
but it's been a hectic one for the medical profession.
It's been hectic, yeah.
You taking some time off?
Trying to. Hopefully Cyril let us go.
Well, lots of people are planning holidays and all the
Yeah.
rest of it.
Yeah.
Any tips? Things you should be taking with you? Things you should be looking at?
Okay. Yeah, there's quite a few things. I think, firstly, the important thing is you probably need to think, where am I going?
Mm-hmm.
So that you can plan what to take with you. So maybe check out the place, the hospitals. Are there hospitals? Are there medical facilities? Are there any preventable diseases like malaria? So you must take stuff for that, preventative stuff for that.
Okay.
Maybe also look at your travel insurance, but also not just travel insurance, your medical evacuation insurance, which is a completely different story. So I think read the fine print and see where you're going, and then plan according to that.
Usually if you're paying by credit card, there is some cover, but you need to find the details out from your bank.
Yeah, because I don't think your credit card's going to fly you out of Mozambique in a plane if you get, I don't know.
Possibly not, yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, it's interesting. I read this weekend that planning a holiday is very good for your mental health.
I love planning
I know,
holidays.
it's awesome.
Because it's that anticipation
Yeah,
of
something
the holiday.
to look forward to.
Yeah, no, I love planning holidays.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
So, what sort of medications should you be taking with you?
You know, I often get phone calls just before Christmas. I had one phone call on Christmas Eve wanting their chronic medication. So I think it's very important to, this time of year, to go to your GP, sort out your chronic medication. So make sure your scripts are up to date so that you don't run out of your script or run out of your medicine in the middle of December when no one's on duty.
Yeah.
Sort of, no one's on duty.
Yeah.
Also make sure if you're traveling, take enough of your chronic medication with you, maybe even a bit extra. You never know what can happen. You can get stuck there.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
So take extra with you, but very important, know what you're on. You know, take responsibility for your chronic medication. I hate it when people come and they say, I'm on that blood pressure tablet, that little round blue one, and it's something for my cholesterol, and you know, I'm also diabetic. But you can't do that. You can't do that. You must know exactly what medication you're on, what dose you're on. Take a picture.
Yeah, if necessary, take a photograph of the actual box with the sticker on it, so that
makes
people
a huge difference.
Yeah.
So if you get to the beach or somewhere and you need to go and see a doctor and you can't remember your chronic medication, I mean, it really makes things difficult.
Okay.
So that's the chronic medication thing. Obviously, if you're going to a remote place, into the bush, that's a different story. Hey? You like your bush trips, eh?
Love it. Yeah.
So the first aid stuff is very important as well. So obviously you want wound dressings, bandages, you want ointments, antiseptics, maybe rash ointments for cuts and stuff like that, cleaning solutions. If you're lucky enough to travel with a medic or a nurse or a doctor,
wat maak jy?
then we might put in some IV fluids. You can put drips up, and that's always a win. But I mean, that's like when something really bad happens.
That's if you're going into
the
really rural parts
Yeah.
of Zimbabwe or Zambia or Mozambique and Angola.
So if you've got pharmacies around you, then obviously you sort of probably sorted. But it's when you're traveling with kids probably, and also with kids with or adults with allergies, with asthma. You know, you have to, you know, some people are on that EpiPen for allergies to bee stings or nuts or something like that. Please don't forget that. And kids with asthma, for example, you might want to take your nebulizer with.
Okay.
I've always travelled with my kids with a nebulizer. It's such a handy thing to travel with, even for adults. You know, when you get bronchitis or asthma or croup, or you know, you can do that.
Okay. General antibiotics, anything like that?
Yeah. So I always go. I sort of like the head to toe approach. So you start with fever, headache. You know, if you don't know what medication to take, you can either go and sit with your doctor or sit with a friend, and you start like fever, headache, pains, aches, sore throat, ear problems, then cough, snotty nose. So it's cough syrups, and as I said, your nebulizer stuff, and maybe children, you want suppositories for fever as well. So suppositories, nappy rash stuff, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, that always happens, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So I love Cantrexil. That stuff is awesome. It's for diarrhea. It's got a local antibiotic in. You need to get it, you know, a script for it, but it's for traveler's diarrhea. It's brilliant.
Okay.
So nausea, vomiting, diarrhea. Remember your rehydrate.
Yes.
You know, to rehydrate yourself. And then obviously, you know, for allergies as well, if you don't need an EpiPen, something like celestamine or even cortisone tablets, once again, you'll have to go and sit with your doctor. And then yes, antibiotics, like a general antibiotic. If you're going to go to a place where you don't really want to go and see the GP, or you can't, or it's very expensive, then I always like to give them a general antibiotic that covers ear, nose, throat, and chest, and bladder, and skin. Then you sort of, then you've covered.
Mainly covered.
Yeah. Then you sort of covered, I would say.
Any safety tips?
You know, okay, so you'll if you're gonna start dishing out medication, because now you're the oak with the biggest bag full of meds, so you're cool. You've got medicine for everything. Make sure that when you give someone medication, make sure that they're not allergic to it. You want to help them, you don't want to kill them.
Yeah.
So especially penicillin allergies. If you're cleaning wounds, lots of people are actually allergic to iodine, so be careful of betadine and stuff like that. Even elastoplast. Some people are very allergic to elastoplast.
Really?
Yeah. So also make sure that allergies, make sure the person is not pregnant, make sure that when they are on chronic medication, like blood pressure stuff or blood thinners or maybe anti-epileptic, there's lots of stuff that you can't give to those people that interferes with their medication. So even if you're not a doctor, you can Google anything. Just make sure you don't do any harm. Something that's also very very helpful sometimes is a little space blanket. You know, if anyone's in shock, a space blanket goes a long way. Hey? We always ride bicycle with little space blankets. If you see someone that came off their bike, you need to keep them warm. And it's light and it's little.
Yeah.
And then you know what? Maybe this is going a bit far, but maybe Google the basic CPR stuff. You know. I was gonna say, I wonder how many people actually know how to perform CPR. And maybe it's something you should put on your New Year's list. Is to go and actually do a course. Yeah, and you know, you can CPR. Do it online as well. And even if you just know, okay, it's 30 compressions and 2 breaths. Look, it's not that easy, but it's basically what it is. And then some people say you don't even have to give breaths, but it becomes complicated then. But basic CPR for kids, man. Yeah. And drownings and heart attacks and oh man. And unfortunately, this is the time of the year where those things seem to happen because children are let run a bit more free and they I've always, well, not always, before children, I always say BC, before children, you used to be judgmental, you know, when someone falls into the swimming pool or someone gets hot water poured all over them, or, you know, but it's happened to my child, fell into the fire, so and then after that you go like, oh, okay, it can happen to anyone, don't judge. So be careful, guys. Watch those little babas. Thank you, Doc. Pleasure. Have a lovely Christmas. Thank you. You and too. A wonderful New Year. Yes. And we'll see you in the new year. Yes. After the 10th of January, which is when we resume normal programming. We will be showing you highlights of Mansfield today throughout the Christmas and New Year period. And tomorrow we'll be joined on the travel show by Ross from MSC, who is going to be disclosing the details of our subscriber prize that we're giving away over the month that we're not on air. If you subscribe to Mansfield today, you will stand a chance of winning a 3-night cruise for 4, courtesy of MSC, up to Mozambique, well, off the coast of Mozambique.
but we'll talk to Ross about that tomorrow on Mansfield Today. Dr. Vicky Skitter, it's been
Thank you,
wonderful having you
Jamie.
in this studio
Thank
again.
you.
And to you, he says, with hiccups coming back again, yes, klap my asseblief. Klap my.
I'm going to give you a fright, then it should go away.
Everyone's tried that. Nothing frightens me.
Okay.
We'll catch you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.